Hey guys, welcome to Wrench to Drive. We're going to do a year-end wrap-up of the TRX4 Hammer Sport, the W2D 8, my eighth kind of DIY RC car. So first of all, the biggest DIY part of this is the body, the cage, and it held up super well, way better than I would have thought given how much damage everything else took. So the only thing I really broke was the body mount, this rear body mount. So it was about +3, +4 outside. My hands were definitely chilly, and the body mount broke in the back. As you can see, I welded it up, fixed. Life is good. Nothing else actually broke. I added some welding on the other side just because, once you break one side, you figure might as well beef up the other side. Nothing else broke on this body. Now, I think part of the problem is I might have been printing some of this TPU a little bit too hard, a little bit too hot, and it got brittle. And the reason I say that is because these back body mounts are still the originals that I made a long, long time ago, and they have not broken. And it seems odd to me that these little posts wouldn't have broken off when the body mount broke. It just seems kind of strange. And the other thing that has not broken, well, two things that haven't broken, the back body mount, and it's landed on this thing hard, like really hard, several times, no breakage. And the front, same thing, lots of heavy hits, no breakage. So I don't know, I think it's probably a case of I had the temp a little too high and that PLA, that TPU was brittle. Otherwise, why would it have broken? Now, for perspective, other things have also broken. I bent 3 stub shafts, so the axle ends, both backs and one front. So that is super annoying. These are the Red Cat XR247 axles from the Wendigo. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember what else they're in off the top of my head, but I really like these axles. They're if you want to make a solid axle truck that goes fast, they're a good choice because the front is set up for speed. You can see it's got some heavy camber built into the pin angle there. It's got I forget what the term is when you got the tilt back, so that the car wants to straighten out. So you got a lot of that in there. These axles are really nice for speed. And for perspective, I made another similar rig to this. It is a axial Wraith clone. It's built on a Wraith center plate, Wraith transmission, Wraith arms, Wraith geometry, so longer wheelbase. And those axles, the big difference is they are much more of a crawler axle, so much sharper turning, much more bite in the turning. But that rig, oh my god, speed, oh, not its friend at all. It rolls over so goddamn easily. And don't get me wrong, this thing also rolls over. Solid axle car, fairly high center of gravity, obviously. What I'm saying is this is way, way better than the Wraith clone. Like, it drives so nice. Like, to me, this is predictable tippy, and you can save it. There's many, many times that it's been on the way over, and you crank it back and you save it. You put the wheels back down. Don't get me wrong, it definitely rolls. This is, if you want a car that's stable and good for tricks and jumping and blah, 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 get yourself something like an Arma monster truck. Right now in Canada on Amazon, they're super cheap. You can get the 4S Armas for $550 if you keep your eyes peeled on Amazon. The other thing that is super, super tempting, if this appeals to you fundamentally, is the low C Hammer Ray. Right now in Canada, it's on sale on Amazon for $500. For perspective, if building this from parts cost me the better part of $500, probably more. So you can get yourself a Hammer Ray that is arguably superior in every possible way. It's got a independent front end, not a solid axle, and a solid axle rear end. It's a really big truck, much longer. It's got a similar wheelbase to a Traxxas UDR, a little bit narrower, so it is tippy. Pretty sweet looking car, I gotta say. It's one of those things, if I didn't have this, I'd be kind of tempted to buy it, because it's a pretty cool truck if you ask me, but And $500 is a smoking good deal. Like, that's a crazy good price. If you like it and don't pick one up for $500, my prediction is you'll regret it. But back to this. Moral of the story, this drives well. I really like how it drives. Like, I'm nothing but pleased with this truck. Now, for perspective, I ran 3S a lot this year, and that's what caused a lot of damage because it is fast. Like, this absolute minimum 30 miles an hour. My prediction is if I stick a GPS on it, it's going to be over 40 if you can actually manage to keep it going in a straight line long enough. It is stupidly fast on 3S. On 2S, it's manageable. On 3S, it's crazy. So the other thing I broke, so lots of things broke. Surprisingly, like I said, much less 3D printed stuff. So as you can see, the motor mount bolt up over on this side here broke. That surprised me. Pins on the hexes, the hex extenders. So I've been running these bad boys. I've had no problems. I broke 2 pins. That is kind of to be expected, and it's a pain in the ass to get them off when you break the pins. But what are you gonna do? The bolts that you run with these are not super strong. I've had no problems. None of them broke. What I did was when I drilled out the wheels, I made them fairly snug. This is probably the loosest one, to be quite honest with you, because I did not want any play. I wanted to make sure that these seat fairly solid, and then obviously you Loctite them, and no problems. The wheels and tires held up good. I didn't have in all the little screws because it's a pain in the butt, and I had no problems whatsoever. These tires are some O-Star Hobby cheapos. I'm trying to remember. These are a large diameter. I think they might be 130. Okay, so these are 120 millimeter tires. This truck performs real well on these. They've got nice aggressive lugs. They do balloon on 3S. 2S very minimal. They're quite soft, but overall it actually it handles quite well with these. These are I'll try and show you. They do roll over on the beads when you're cornering hard, but it's hard to explain, but this thing does handle quite well. And I believe they are on it on my previous running video. Sorry, no footage of the latest mayhem. It's too much work to edit those videos. I'm lazy. When in doubt, don't make running videos. They're time consuming. I kind of wish I had footage actually, because it had some spectacular rolls. So broke that. Bent the ends. On to performance. So to run 3S, I was running this 4S capable BLX 120 ESC out of a Arma 4S car. It worked really well. Handles the power super nicely. Didn't get hot. You would expect that with a 3660 2600 kV motor. It's not over kV'd anymore. So this is a Raystar 3660, the 2600 kV motor. I recommend it highly. No problems whatsoever. It works great. Lots of power. Doesn't get hot in this thing. This is a 10-tooth pinion, Traxxas pinion. It's worked really well. Very pleased with this setup overall. Running a heatsink, fan and heatsink. I definitely didn't need it today because it's cold out, but that is definitely advisable in the heat. Alright, so the Red Cat axles, I like them. They work reasonably well, but I bent ends. And I gotta decide now what to do, because straightening the axle ends is tricky. And the shafts are not stupidly cheap. Last time I checked, they were basically hideously expensive. So the cheapest way to fix that might be to just get another set of axles. Right now they're $125 on Amazon in Canada, easily available. I really like them. This truck is super fun, so I'm definitely going to keep it running. So I might just have to buy another set of those axles. Any other problems with them? I'm trying to think. I do not believe so. I have not cracked them open. I might do that. If I do, I'll post a quick follow-up to let you know if the insides are good. I have no reason to think they won't be. The nice thing about these is they got nice machine spools. The gears in them are top quality, so they should be good. I would not expect them to be broken or damaged, but yeah, you never know. The Traxxas transmission, this is the 2-speed TRX4 transmission. It's held up really well. This little servo, it's a $5 cheapo. It's held up just fine. This thing shifts beautifully. I shift it all the time to get her down into low gear for farting around and then back up into high gear. I've had no problems whatsoever. Dumbo RC radio works just fine. I have this. If you're looking to run these cheap servos, notice I have the shift linkage mounted super close to the end, and this is set up so that the three position switch is driving it, and the center position actually does put this into neutral, and then either extreme goes high gear, low gear. So that works super nicely in my humble opinion. The spur gear's held up really nicely. If you run this, make sure you tighten up the slipper. If you leave that slipper too loose, it will spin hard. I melted one really badly. And this, I just tightened it up as tight as it would go, because if you keep melting pads, you got a big problem, right? Drive shafts have held up beautifully. These are Injora metal shock mounts. As you can see, no problems whatsoever. They've held up really nicely. Injora mountain shocks, turned down a little bit to stiffen them up some. I believe these are 110s. I would have to double check that. Actually, I got the tape measure. Let's check. Refresh my memory, because I can't quite recall. I want to say they're 110s. I don't think I went with 120s. Whoa, are they? Oh, they're 90s. My bad. These are 90s. Let's check the front. Yeah, those are 90s. Okay. 90 millimeter shocks. And if anything, they could be a hair shorter. I would actually like to move for sure the front up one spot to get a little bit closer. But this gives full range of travel the way it's set up. In the back, same deal. If anything, I got to do something about the cross brace, or lengthen it out to get it past the cross brace in order to get more travel, because this big post sticking up off the axles limits your deal. Oh, and look at that, it limits it on the battery tray too. Those bars are real close. So anyways, you get proper range of travel, but this thing could sit a little bit lower. If this thing was running a little lower, I think it would be an improvement, but that might not be doable, as you can see, based on it's essentially set up about as good as you could ask it to be right now in terms of travel, and there's not really any way to improve it because it's using all the range of motion that it has. This servo's held up beautifully. It's a cheapo, a $20 cheapo, I think off Banggood. I think that's it. So TRX4 chassis, TRX4 transmission, TRX4 links, Red Cat axles, Injora shock mounts, shocks, blah blah blah. Oh, custom made servo mount. This is just a 3D printed out of PLA jobby, and it has not broken. Oh, this front protection, this thing is not good. It gets moved around a little too easily. I only used one screw to anchor it. It's bent about 15 different ways. I'm not sure how much protecting it actually does, so this is definitely going to come off. The ESC tray, a little 3D printed jobby, no problems. Yeah, so there you go. That is the year-end summary of the TRX4 Hammersport. Super fun truck. Definitely on 3S, 40 miles an hour. It's fast, a little too fast. Did some damage. Bent a bunch of shit. Bent my axle ends. Not very happy about that, gotta tell you. But it's fun. This is a really fun truck to drive. I gotta say, it is my favorite, I think, DIY truck. It works super nicely. Very impressed overall. And that cage has held up beautifully. Could not be any more durable. You're going to break some stuff when you have the kind of hard landings that I had. Alright guys, that's it for this edition of Wrench to Drive, where we ask the eternal question, do you drive to wrench or do you wrench to drive? See you next time.